Butch and Bob Show.
World famous Butch and Bob Show here on WIFO 105.5 FM in Jesup, Big Dog Country Radio. Morning, Bob.
Good morning.
How's it going?
Fighting a head cold, other than that, okay.
Well, you stay away from me. You stay away on the other side of the room over there.
Got some kind of head cold.
How'd you get a cold, you know?
I have no idea.
No idea at all, huh? Okay.
A lot of people said it's going around, so it's
One of
going
them
around.
summer colds, huh?
Summer cold.
Summer cold.
Don't feel bad, just don't feel good. So one of those things.
Okay.
Fight through it.
I got the Lysol over here. I'll spray the area down when you leave.
There you go.
Got to do that. Heck of a weekend we had on Saturday, wasn't it?
That's crazy. That's where my relatives live, up in Butler, PA. That's where my grandparents lived for years, and all my relatives. When it first happened, my sisters were texting me saying, "Hope it's not one of our crazy cousins." So,
Is that something that maybe some of your family might be
but,
involved with, Bob?
We've got some crazy cousins now on the mother's side.
Everybody has crazy cousins and weird uncles, right?
I haven't seen them for a while, but I said that was just strange. It happened in Butler, PA. I said, know that area well. So that's where my grandparents lived. We used to go. That was the trip from Pittsburgh to Butler every Saturday to see my grandparents.
So the grandparents were in Butler and y'all were in Pittsburgh, right?
Yeah. So, but know that area well. So just a sad situation. Fortunate that it wasn't more tragic than what it was, but I hated for that poor man that lost his life. And there's two people in critical condition. Have really heard an update on those two people, but and like they said this morning, it could have been a lot worse. You know,
it could have been. It could have been.
A lot of those people, to keep their, when you shots fired, you think it'd be a stampede out of those bleachers. You thought somebody might get trampled just by people, but most people kept their calm and composure. But I still don't understand how that kid got up on that roof, because watching all the coverage, they kept saying, they pointed out to the police that there was somebody climbing up there, but I don't know how he got shots off.
I read something this morning where some local cops up there responded to that into a certain type of way. They got over to the barn and they couldn't, so what they did to get up on the edge of the roof there. One cop got on the shoulders of the other cop and raised him up so he could get up there to see what was going on. When he stuck his head above the roof there, right there, when the roof came down. When he stuck his head just looking up over the roof, the shooter turned around and pointed the gun at him. So, of course, you know what he did? He popped his head back down. He didn't want it blown off. And when he popped his head back down, just 2 or 3 seconds later was the bam, 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 the shooting and so forth. But there was one person that said that for him to be able to get that close to Trump with a bullet, he had to have some sort of training. So it's going to be interesting to find out. This high school kid looked all clean cut when he graduated high school 2 years ago, but now he's got scraggly beard, long hair, just a loner, bullied, all that kind of stuff. What is it? You hear these guys that do this kind of stuff. I mean, a lot of them they're loners. They're not very social. They're loners, and so he doesn't have much of a social presence on social media, which is weird for a 20-year-old.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see.
They don't know much about him, but the Secret Service really catching a lot of heat because they want to know why that building wasn't secured, and so they're the ones that have a lot of questions to be answered. So see how it all plays out. But there's just a lot of people scratching their head on how something like that could happen.
Yeah, because they're supposed to secure anything where a shot could come from 1,000 yards out. They had another former Secret Service person on. They had all kinds of former people on television interviews, but you're supposed to secure 1,000 feet out or 1,000 yards out. And this was 140. This 160. You keep getting different things. Let's just say 150 yards. 160 yards away. Basically a football field and a half. Now that's close. That is close. And it's a building where people can get out there, and you got people yelling that he's up there and all this kind of stuff. And the report just said that more details have come out as every day goes by on what exactly happened there. You had some conservatives saying, well, the quality of the Secret Service is not what I kind of used to because of Biden's, basically a woke DEI type of hiring in feds now with the Secret Service, the military, and everything else. So maybe the quality of Secret Service is not as good as it used to be because you're including people who may not be qualified. But that's just a conservative saying that. One of the conservative congressmen, whether that's true or not, I don't know. But people are going to be saying different things about this event to try to push their political agenda in some sort of way.
And the convention gets underway today in Milwaukee. So
that's right, Republican convention in Milwaukee. I'd love to have a recording of that conversation between Trump and Biden Saturday night. What was said there? Yeah,
I like how they said it was short.
It was short. Could have been one of the shortest phone calls on record.
It would be nice to know what was said, though.
Yeah,
maybe it'll eventually come out, but neither are saying what they just said. It was a cordial,
nice
short,
thing.
Right,
Yeah.
So.
What's going to be interesting is see how long this detente between the Republicans and Democrats, or between Biden and Trump takes place, or will those hateful ads come back after Labor Day weekend or something like that? You got some folks out there. You got one congressman from the state of Georgia saying it's Biden's at fault because he's the one that says that he's going to concentrate on Trump and Trump's got his bullseye. You know, Trump's in the bullseyes. Did that trigger this guy? You don't know what triggered the guy. You really don't. I mean, the guy that shot Ronald Reagan back in '81, he was just trying to impress Jodie Foster.
Right.
You know, he had no political agenda at all. He was just trying to impress Jodie Foster. You know, you had all kinds of people saying, why did he shoot him and all that kind of stuff like that. You know, he was released last year.
That's 40 years ago.
Yeah, he was released last year.
That long ago, but I said, luckily it turned into something far worse. Like I said, could you imagine, the assassination of a president this time? I mean, it was just, can't imagine what all would have took place if that. What was the outcome of what took place on Saturday? But
yeah, a quarter of an inch is what the
really
doctor
feel
told
sorry
him.
for that family. Who's man, he was a firefighter in that area. Just sad that he lost his life. Just goes to a rally and loses his life. I mean,
he lost his life protecting his two daughters and wife.
It's just crazy.
He covered his body over them and saved their lives. He gave his life to save theirs, and you got the two other ones that are seriously injured, bruises and bumps and sprained ankles for people going out and getting down the stands and so forth like that. But it really is surprising that this building was not had cops around it or somebody on the roof, only being a football field and a half away from a former president. I just absolutely amazes everyone.
I mean, there are people wondering were there drones in the area? Did they use? I mean, I said the Secret Service has just got a lot to answer for. I mean, they're the ones that are under the gun right now because
they said they're spread
thin.
They're
not really saying much. So, but they've got a lot of answers or questions to answer. So we'll see how all that plays out and how that investigation goes. So, but they're the ones that are catching the heat over the weekend.
Yeah, well, they're trying to say that building
wasn't secure.
That building was supposed to be under the jurisdictions of the local LEOs, and the local LEOs are saying, well, the Secret Service came in and said that they're handling everything and so forth, and we need your help. We're going to do it. So everybody's kind of pointing fingers at each other and so forth. But I'm just glad that former President Trump was not seriously injured, just has part of his ear gone. Now that's close. He said he could hear that bullet go by. In one of the pictures they showed, you can see the bullet going just by, the freeze frame there, the bullet going just by Trump. But this guy was not using like the bolt action sniper gun. He was using an AK gun. And so he was just spraying bullets all over in that place, just trying. He wasn't like he was a great marksman, but they said he had to be trained in something. It was his dad's gun, so I don't know how much he might have went and practiced with that, but you can tell that the sniper was trained. One bullet between the eyes, and that was it.
They took him out quickly. That's
yes,
for sure.
One bullet between the eyes, and he was gone. But it is really surprising that building was not secure, somebody on the roof or watching it to see if anybody gets on there. Because, you got to walk a long ways. You got a gun, you got to get up on the roof. You got people yelling, there's a guy on the roof with a rifle, and cops are just running around. It's just a shame, and our thoughts and prayers go out to that family. He was seemed like he was a really good guy, the guy that got killed in the thing. But protecting his family, that's what you do as a father and a husband. You protect your family, and he did. It'll be interesting to see how the rhetoric stays down. I know that President Trump, from what they're saying, is kind of redoing his speech there for the at the Republican National Convention, that he's trying to make it more softer, nicer. We've got to work things out. We've got to come together.
About unity is what he's saying.
Right. So. About unity and so forth.
Like I said, that'll be the question. How long will the
long
rhetoric
will it last?
Yeah. They're all talking about toning everything down, but we'll see how that goes. So.
Well, the leaders in this country cannot be, and the leaders of the country and the leaders of the parties cannot be surprised that stuff like this happens, because they just spew hate toward the other party or the other candidates.
Yeah, and that's the problem we're in, and we mention that all the time. No one can. They can't agree and
agree to disagree.
Disagree, right? I mean,
you either believe my way or you're nothing.
Right. Now it's all hatred. If you disagree with somebody, it's pure hate. It's just that's where we're at in society, which is sad. Nobody in the old days, they used to be able to debate, and you could still walk away as friends. I say I wish it was like college football. Everybody has their allegiance, but we all still get along. But when we play on Saturdays, we right. But I mean, we don't hold it against everybody. But here, lately, political wise, if you're on the opposite side of what somebody believes, they don't want to deal with you. It's just pure. They can't agree to disagree. So it's just sad.
Well, they say that anger and hatred is the new drug out there for people that releases all those chemicals in you and so forth that it helps people justify their cause, having that hatred and anger. And you shouldn't have that. Like you should agree to disagree. You don't believe the way I do, but I'm not going to try to force my opinions on you, and vice versa. But in social media today is just gasoline on the flame. Just gasoline, like I don't know what. There was already conspiracy theories coming out right after the thing happened, when no one even knew the facts. But that's social media for you. People are going to put it on there. They're going to try to see if their thoughts and feelings get people hooked onto it. It makes them feel important because they put something out there that people are believing because they want to believe it when it's not even the truth. And hopefully things will get a little more cordial between the two camps, but I don't know how long that'll last. I really don't.
We'll see. It'll be an interesting week to see how it all plays out in the convention.
And hopefully everything will go fine there in Milwaukee. I know there's going to be thousands of demonstrators there. Then you've got the Democratic Convention in Chicago, and we all know what happened there in 1968, man. It was a war zone there. And they say that won't happen this time, so we'll see what happens.
Still waiting to see who his VP pick is.
I know.
Thought for sure we'd have it by now, but starting the convention, I'm sure they're not going to announce it today. Or waiting to see who decides going to be on that ticket. So
well, it's down between the Ohio governor and the Florida governor.
I think it's down to 3 different people. So I think there's 3 people in the race, but I'm not sure.
Oh, there's a third one too. That's right. There's a third one. So it'll be see who's going to be interesting to see on all that, and which one he picks. I guess what the polling shows, which state they need the most and which one's the closest, huh?
I'm sure it'll be the president. I'm sure it'll be Trump's decision. So,
used to people say, well, how can he pick Mark Rubio? They were just so, they ran against each other, bad blood there. But the same thing happened with Ronald Reagan and George Bush, the first George Bush. George Bush was saying, Reaganomics was voodoo economics and all this kind of stuff like that. But then Reagan ended up picking him.
But Rubio brings that Latino vote, so you're always trying to find that segment of votes that you not really that high with. So that's the reason why he's on that list. So anyway, it'll be interesting. But I'm surprised we haven't heard it by now. I thought, with the convention starting today, we'd already know who that pick is, but
we might have if this hadn't happened.
Maybe so. Maybe he's going to announce it right there at that speech. Who knows? I mean, I think that's the shooting started like 5 minutes into the speech. So.
Yeah, about 5 minutes into it. He was up there showing stuff on the screen of what the illegal immigrants have done to this country in terms of economics, crime, drugs, and all that kind of stuff. And
they say they're lucky, when unfortunately he moved to point to that.
Yeah, he moved his head to the little to the right, and when he did, it hit his ear instead of his head. That might
have been the difference.
Yep, that's what the doctor was saying, a quarter inch. And that's when Trump says, "Well, I moved my head a little bit to the right a little bit, and when I did that, or to the left, or whatever it was, it missed his head and hit his ear." But isn't that be weird to stand there and you hear that bullet go by, and then you feel the pain in your ear and the blood coming down, and as soon as he figured out what it was, man, he was going down. And then next thing you know, the Secret Service on him, like he says, they tackled him like linebackers, And it was interesting to see the procedures they used, because we hadn't really seen it before. They're all around him going off in a big huddle, and then you got the counter reaction team coming out, the military guys with the guns providing cover for him. You saw them in their camouflaged uniforms as they're providing cover for the Secret Service, who are protecting President-elect. Not president-elect, but former president. You got to see that whole procedure there. And the next thing you know, the helicopters come in. But, boy, that sniper that took out the gunman, and he was good. One bullet right between the eyes is all it took. And they were showing there the whole time. They had their cameras on all of them right there on the stage. As Trump got hit and all that kind of stuff. And you had so many people on the left-hand side, or it'd be actually looking at it as the left. It'd be on the right-hand side of the stands, looking to the left. You could see them all looking that way. And so there was something going over there, and that's what it was, is the sniper got killed. But they never panned their cameras over that way. None of the networks panned their cameras over that way to see what all these people were looking at over that way, which really amazed me. I kept waiting for one of them to pan their cameras over that way to see what was happening over there, but they never did. It was a little later on before we actually got to see a picture of the building where the sniper was on.
A wild scene for sure. Crazy.
Yeah. Well, a Democratic congressman has let one of his staff members go because next time, I can't believe that people are this stupid. The staff member said, "Don't miss next time." And see, that's the type of, it's how much hatred that this staff member, who's a staff member of a Democratic congressman, has toward Trump or the Republicans or whatever, saying next time don't miss. You don't want your opposition killed like that, but this staff member's gone. He's out of there. Yeah. They may be some people on the left that are thinking that today, but they better not say it. They'll be chastised,
That's y'all saying, you can't fix stupid. So.
Yeah.
That's just stupid stuff right there. So.
It is. You want to debate, you want to run on your issues, but the problem is people, as I've mentioned before, respond to fear and doubt, and that's what these ads are doing these days, is to put fear and doubt into people's minds about a certain candidate, and if it didn't work, they wouldn't be doing it. And so that's the reason why they keep up with the polls. And if they run ads in it, the polls change, they continue to run those negative ads like that. And you hate to see that, because you ought to be basing your vote on the policies that particular party stands for. And do you believe in those? And this is just the person that's going to be the head of the party, the president. But that's what they do. That's the reason why they run those negative ads, because they work. Because people respond to them with fear, because I don't want to vote for him because, and you can't believe what's in those ads. They can say anything they want or twist the facts around or whatever. You just have to have a certain belief on the way that you think the government ought to be run.
Well, the irony in all this, the biggest benefactor is Biden, because before Saturday, the big story was the Democratic Party was doing their best to push him off the ticket. And now, since Saturday, you don't hear anything about that.
No, you don't. It got buried in third or fourth
What I'm
page in the
saying.
newspaper
That's what
now.
I'm
Now it's
saying.
all this. So Biden's probably saying, well,
That's what I'm saying.
I didn't want you killed, but I'm glad that you're taking over the front page.
That's what I'm saying. The front page story has definitely changed. So you don't hear anything about that story. So I don't know where it's going to go, but apparently there's still a lot of concern in the Democratic Party on his condition and whether or not he can function and all that good stuff. So we'll see how that plays out. But
Well, if he has the
apparently
type
it's been knocked to the back page.
if he has the type of condition that a lot of them think that he has, then he's not going to get better from what they said. He's just not going to get better. It's not one of these things that when you get better, if you got one of these degenerative diseases, you're going to get worse, and that's what a lot of them think, that he's going to be worse by October, November than he is right now. But we'll see. But as you mentioned, it took it off the front page. We're not even going to hear anything today about that. It's all about that. And, of course, this week it's going to be the Republican National Convention. That'll be on the front page news. And it'll be interesting to see what the Democratic leaders do. And then you've got, you got almost $100 million in donations that are just being held on to right now because these big donors don't want to give to a candidate that they really can win. It's a mess, Bob.
It's a big mess right now for the Democratic Party because most Democrats, people have stated publicly they don't think he can win. So
I mean, how do you reverse what you said when nothing's changed since then?
But they're letting him make the decision. He's defined he's going to stay in. So, I mean, we'll see how the next got another debate planned for September. So,
but before then, you'll have the
that
Democratic
plays out.
National Convention.
Right. So, but like I said, Saturday night's event has just pushed that story about them trying to get Biden out to the back page. Haven't heard anything in the last 48 hours.
No, not a thing. It's all in which it should be. It's all about the attempted assassination of former president. Whether it have been Trump or whether it have been Bush or Obama or Clinton or any of them.
But I'm like, the person who's going to be the star of this whole thing is who finds out what that conversation between Trump and
It was probably just short and cordial. Both of them trying to be a gentleman as much as they possibly could.
Was it recorded?
Was it recorded?
I mean, they record everything these days. Can we get a recording of it to find out exactly what was said?
They said that photo of Bush, not of Bush, but of Trump, with his fist up in the air, with the blood coming across his face, is one of the most iconic pictures of all time. You'll see T-shirts probably already, with that on there, and the word up under it, fight, with his fist up in the air and the blood coming down his face, and him saying fight. That'll be a big seller at the convention.
The big story too is Trump said he had a speech all ready to go, and he's torn that up. And
he's torn it up.
He's got a whole new speech. So be interested to see what the speech is like when he does deliver it. So
more cordial.
It'll be later in this week, so I'm sure. So, but just wild story Saturday. That was just crazy. From the time it happened, all weekend long, it was 24-hour news coverage from just about every station.
I really like to find out what I know this kid's been doing for the last 2 years since he graduated high school. What got him to this point. He was a registered Republican, but he had donated $15 to some Democratic cause this past year or so. And
they didn't say they really hadn't said much about him. They didn't say he had a job or he worked.
Well, he did have a job somewhere. I can't remember what it was.
They talked to some of his former high school classmates. So I mean, there's not been a lot of information. Hadn't heard much about his parents. I know the father said he didn't want to discuss anything until he talked to the FBI. So I'm not sure if he's going to make a statement. So they got to be in total shock.
How would you like to find out that your kids
took your gun and because it wasn't his gun, it was his father's gun.
His father's gun. Yep, his father's gun. Lock your guns up, folks. Lock them up so they can't be getting to them. But,
I'm sure more will come out on. They still haven't given a motive yet either, so that'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, they don't know
decide what the
motive. I mean,
is.
usually got a guy that was a loner in high school, bullied and stuff like that. He looked clean cut when he walked across that stage, and now he's got long hair and looks scraggly. You know what's happened to the kid in the last 2 years. And since he didn't have anything on social media about his thoughts and feelings and stuff, it's making it a little more difficult. But I'm sure they're looking at the phone calls now, text messages, any type of communication he might have had with anybody to find out if there is what kind of motive be there, or just he was just off kilter. Yeah. Who knows? Who knows? Okay, what's going on locally? Got any meetings or anything going on this week?
I said the city and the school board have meetings tomorrow, so the city has their regular meeting tomorrow. The school board has their regular agenda tomorrow, but the school board has a call meeting tomorrow. I don't know what financial training means. I'm assuming it's the meeting with the former CFO, Tony Williams, but don't really know exactly what that's about. But that's all it says on the 8 o'clock agenda tomorrow, call meeting for financial training, whatever that means.
Okay, I guess you'll find out, Bob. All right.
Find out today.
You'll find out today. Or anything else?
That's it.
All right, and that was a good interview you had with T.Y. McGill of doing that
It was good.
Football camp out there.
A lot of kids out there. So
well,
I didn't realize it was 10 years since he's been in the NFL. That's a nice
going
milestone.
into his 10th year.
10th year.
Going into his 10th year. So he's been playing for 9 years now. Graduate of Wayne County High School, NFL player, doing well. Playing for San Francisco, T.Y. McGill.
Been on a lot of teams, that's for sure.
Yeah, and he plays what position again?
Defensive end.
Yeah, defensive end. All right, Bob. Have a good day.
Okay.
All right, the world-famous Butch and Bob Show here on WIFO 105.5 FM in Jesup has been brought to you by First Southern Bank, Van's Barbecue, Murphy Builder Supply, and O'Quinn & Associates.